First of the OWASP top 10, number 1 is broken access control. Now, broken access control usually enforces policies so that users can't get outside of what they're meant to be able to do. So, for example, the user shouldn't be able to gain admin access or touch admin related functions. And failures typically lead to unauthorized information disclosure, modification of data and information, or even destruction of it all completely. And as a result, it has a huge impact on businesses. Common access control vulnerabilities include lack of principal of least privilege, so giving somebody more access than they actually should have, than what they really need to do their job, let's say. Bypassing access control checks, so modifying URLs and APIs. Querying another user's details by providing a different user identifier. And privilege escalation abuse. Now, there's more examples on the OWASP website, but they are some of the key examples, some of the more common ones you'll hear about. And the best way to prevent broken access control is to ensure access controls are checked and that they're performed outside of the reach of the attacker, so on the server side, not the client side. To disable directory listing and remove file metadata and backup files from web routes. Log access control failures and ensure appropriate alerting. Rate limit API and control of access. That'll minimize the automation of attacks. After logout, invalidate stateful session identifiers. And ensure stateless Java Web Tokens are short-lived. So let's port this into a real-world example. To explore broken access control a little bit further, I've come to a website called Hacker 101, and I've came to the capture the flag section, as you can see in the top left corner here. It's a free website where you can register and start doing some capture the flag tasks to try and learn a bit more about hacking. And it's really good just purely for that option. Now, broken access control is something that's really important to understand. So inside of the capture the flag postbook section, which is right here, ranked as easy, we're going to explore that a little bit. So once you've logged in, once you've registered and you've came to the capture the flag website and page, you can click on the go button and it should launch the postbook website. Now, on this we're going to sign up. So we're just going to sign up with a user and a password, something very simple. And it tells us that we've successfully signed up. Please sign in. So we're going to click on sign in now. And we're going to sign in with the credentials that we've just created. Give it a moment. There we go. We're signed in. Now we can see on the page that we are logged into that there are 2 posts already built. One of them is done by the admin and one of them is done by the user. Now we've just registered as a user and therefore we get the option to edit and delete the post that we should be able to control. So if we click on edit, in theory, we should only be able to edit our own posts. That's the way you would expect a website to work. You know, a blog, a guest book like this, you would expect to only be able to adjust and delete the work of your own. However, if we go back to the home page, we can see by hovering over this that on the very, very bottom of the screen, we get an ID equals free, which is the URL. If we right click and inspect, we should hopefully get the same thing as well. So we can see here, ID equals free. And that is the identifier of the post that's specific to this user. Now if we also do the same for the admin one, right click and inspect, we can see that it's an ID of 1. Now by default, we don't get the option to edit and delete the admin post. So if we click on it, what we get is the ability to see the post, and that's about it. Now, if we click on edit on the user post, and in the URL, if we go to the very top and we change the ID from free to 1 and press return, we can see that we're now able to edit the administrator's post. So let's say maybe we're going to make this the 99th post instead of the first post. And if we hit save, bonuses, you get a flag if you're doing the challenge, but we also get an updated post by the admin of the 99th post. If we click on home, we can also see that it's updated it down here. So what we've effectively done is we've went to edit our post, we've modified the site parameters and identified that the site does not do any authorization checks or authentication checks to prove that you are the administrator and that you should be the administrator to modify the administrator's post. Instead, what the website's done is you've authenticated as someone who registered with the system, and therefore you're entitled to be in the system. And the website's decided, well, because you're allowed in the system, you can modify anything in the system, any of the posts in this example. So we can see that there is broken access control in this example here.